What's up guys, I would do an interesting little video for you guys this afternoon. So I wanted to do a video talking about WWE 2K25. Now for the most part the game looks like it's gonna be pretty good when it comes out in a few weeks time. It looks like it's gonna be very solid for the most part, you know, it doesn't look like, the gameplay wise it does look very good. However, there is one major thing that kind of bugs me with 2K. Like, with 2K games, like the 2K, I've noticed that they put a lot of effort into certain things, but then they are very lazy when it comes to other parts of the game. Like, you know, one of the things I've noticed with 2K, obviously every time that they release a new game, there will be certain wrestlers that have the exact same attires that they had in the previous game. They don't bother to update them. Like obviously I've seen like all of the screenshots and things like that, and they were showing off the models for Nia Jax and Rey Mysterio the other day. Now, their models look very, very good for 2K25. You know, you can't really say much. But there is one small problem. Both Nia Jax and Rey Mysterio have the exact same attires that they had in WWE 2K25, 2K24. Now, obviously, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, Nia Jax was DLC, that's why she has the exact same attire, but Jade Cargill was DLC and she sought a new attire for this year's game, so they can't use that as an excuse. You know, it's just ridiculous, to be honest, and I feel like, yeah, to be honest, that's pure laziness from 2K, the fact that they're giving certain wrestlers the exact same attire that they had in the previous game. They're not even bothering to update them. And yeah, for the most part, the majority of wrestlers do have new attires and don't have the exact same attire they had in the previous game. There's only a few select wrestlers that do. But I just think like that's, you know, to me, there's no excuses for that. Like that's just pure laziness. The fact that 2K are not even bothering to update certain wrestlers, they're just giving certain wrestlers the exact same attire they had in the previous game. You know, for example, last year with WWE 2K24, Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman had the exact same attires they had in 2K23. They hadn't been updated. This year, they've not even bothered to update Nia Jax and Rey Mysterio. They had the exact same attires they had in the last game. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, you paid 120 quid for the game and you're moaning about things like that. But at the end of the day, I feel like people have a right to moan about like things like this because at the end of the day, it's just pure laziness for 2K. At the end of the day, the fact that they're not even bothering to update certain attires for the game, like, it's just, you know, to be honest, it's a bit of a joke, really. Like, I feel like it ruins the game for me a little bit, you know, the fact that you load up the game and you go to play with certain wrestlers and you see that they have the exact same attires or they show the screenshots or that, you know, gameplay wise before the game, and you're seeing that certain wrestlers basically have the exact same attires that they had in the previous game. It's like, why would you show off wrestlers that haven't even been updated? And these show off wrestlers that have updated attires and things like that. Don't be showing off wrestlers that have the exact same attires they had in the previous game and haven't even been updated. It's like, what's the point in that? Well, you know, and of course people are gonna be, you know, a little bit peed off about things like this because it just feels like pure laziness from 2K, the fact that they're not even bothering to update certain wrestlers for the game. They're just basically giving certain wrestlers the exact same attires that they had in the previous game. It's like, it's just absolute laziness, is what it is. There's no excuses for the fact that they're doing things like that. It's just downright stupid, for the most part. You know, and I genuinely think that that's something that needs to change with 2K. I mean, as I said, it's like with 2K, they put a lot of effort into certain things, but then when it comes to other things, they don't really put a lot of effort in. And this is one of the things that they should be putting a lot of effort into, is making sure that wrestlers have updated attires. It's like, what's the point in just giving wrestlers the exact same attires they had in a previous game? Talk about pure laziness from 2K. I mean, I remember there was like this running gag, like I remember John Cena, all the way up until 2K23. He had the exact same attire in 3 separate games: WWE 2K19, 2K20, and 2K22. He had the attire with the green shirt and everything. They actually never updated that until 2K23. Talk about absolute mental, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what else to say. But I mean, as I said, it's just pure laziness from 2K. There's no other way to describe that. Like the fact that it's giving certain wrestlers the exact same attire they had in a previous game, and they're not even bothering to update. This is one of those things that 2K are very, very lazy with. I mean, I'm not saying that. I mean, I'm not gonna going too hard on them, because gameplay wise, the game does look very good. It does look like the game's gonna be very enjoyable. It's just I just have to mark them down a little bit for the fact that they're not updating certain wrestlers, and they're just giving certain wrestlers the exact same attire they had in a previous game, which feels like one of the laziest things to do. And it's also a somewhat scummy thing to do as well, just giving a wrestler a certain an attire that basically is the exact same attire that they had in the previous game. They're not even bothering to update. I mean, to be honest, when I think about the fact that I paid so much money for the game, obviously I pre-ordered the Bloodline edition, and you think about how much that costs. I don't know, I don't feel like I did a bad thing. I know a lot of people say, it was like I did a dumb thing, paying that much money for the Bloodline edition, and that I should have gone for one of the cheaper editions. But I think I was always going to go for the Bloodline edition. I feel like that edition of the game stood out most to me. I mean, I would have pre-ordered the standard edition, but the only thing with the pre-ordering the standard edition is that you don't get the early access. Like, you only get the 7 days early access if you pre-order one of the special editions, which is I think probably one of the main reasons I pre-ordered the Bloodline edition, was so that I could get that 7 days early access. But I probably could have ordered the deluxe edition, but I didn't really think about that, to be honest. I was thinking, it was like the Bloodline, I just wanted to get the Bloodline edition because I'd seen that was the edition, that was the one that everyone was going for. Everyone was going for the Bloodline edition, and it felt, it felt like it made the most sense to pre-order that edition of the game, and it does look good, for the most part. It's just these little things that you do have to all 2K out on, because it's pure laziness. The fact that they're not updating certain wrestlers, they're just giving certain wrestlers the same exact attires they had in the previous game. Why are 2K being so lazy with things like that? Why would 2K want to release a new game and have certain wrestlers wearing the exact same attires they had in the previous game? I don't get how that makes sense. To actually have wrestlers with the exact same attires they had in the previous game, not even bother to update. I feel like that's just 2K showing just how lazy they can really be. I think 2K are really showing us that they are incredibly lazy when it comes to certain things. And this is one of those things that 2K have a tendency to be very lazy. And I think we all know that. It's just, it doesn't ruin the game completely, but I feel like for me, in a way, it makes the game a little bit less enjoyable. The fact that certain wrestlers have the exact same attires they had in the previous game. I mean, at least, that's probably one of the biggest reasons I'm so thankful that we have, community creations, is so that we can actually download different attires from community creations and use them we don't have, obviously, you don't have to worry too much about, obviously, you just download various attires and use the other attires, if you really wanted to do that. And I think, for me, that is a real godsend. I have to be brutally honest, I do think it is a godsend, that we have, that we have that, obviously, as I said, it doesn't really ruin things too much, but it doesn't make 2K look good. It makes them look incredibly late, but, things like this make them look incredibly lazy, and, I feel like they these sort of things warrant 2K being pulled out for that, 2K being pulled out, because it is, as I said, massively lazy on their part. That's all it is. Pure laziness. And I just wanted to give my opinions on that. That's one of the things I've noticed, and it just really bothers me a little bit with 2K. The fact that keep giving certain wrestlers the exact same attire they had in the previous game and not even bothering to update them. It's like, why are 2K being so lazy with things like that? It doesn't make sense. So I hope you enjoyed this little video anyway. Thought I would give my thoughts on that. I'll see you for another video later on. Bye bye.